Hey, what's up, guys? Stephen Kite here with my lovely wife, Aisha. And we got another great recipe video for you guys today, especially if you have fibromyalgia and arthritis and your goal is to lose weight, decrease chronic pain. We're going to show you how to make a dish that's a dessert dish and show you how you can still enjoy the pleasantries of life and still, eat healthy to where you don't have to risk having a chronic pain flare up or gaining weight for that matter, all right? So what are we going to show them how to make today?
Peach cobbler that is gluten-free and dairy-free. So we're going to show you step by step what you'll need to know, so just follow along.
And we're also going to show you step by step how to make it and everything that you'll need, all right? So before we get started, be sure to hit that like, share, and subscribe button so you can get notified when we upload more content to the channel, all right? So just follow along with us and we'll show you how to make peach cobbler, all right? All right, so here's everything we need. We got some cornstarch, coconut oil, gluten-free flour, frozen organic peaches, pure cane sugar, a couple of organic eggs, ground cinnamon, some baking powder, vanilla extract, coconut milk, some sea salt, and dairy-free butter. Make sure the butter is dairy-free. And we have a lemon. And like I said, a couple of organic eggs. And next you'll need a baking pan, a big bowl, and a nice sized pot. Alright, next we're going to cut that lemon that we have into 4 different slices. Gonna squeeze the juice out of those lemons all the way. Make sure you get as much as you can out of those slices. Squeeze all that juice out into that bowl. Now we are going to have some seeds left over, so pick those seeds out because we don't need them. We just need that lemon juice. Next we're going to set that pot on that eye and turn that eye on a little bit over medium. We're going to pour our peaches in. We're using 3 bags right now of frozen peaches. We'll probably add some more later. Right now, and then we're going to get our cane sugar ready. So we're going to put 1 cup of cane sugar and pour it over the peaches in that eye. Another cup. We're going to need a lot of sugar for these peaches to get them nice and sweet. Then we're going to pour our lemon juice from our fresh squeezed lemons over there, over the peaches. So this is just a redo of that clip, so I can slow it down for you so you can see it, because I felt like that was going a little bit too fast. So, we poured the peaches in the pot. There's about 3 bags. Starting off with 3 bags, so you can see it at a little slower pace. We added 2 cups of sugar. Spread it out, spread it around all over the peaches to add that sweetness to it. This should help you keep up better, slow the pace down for you. Remember, we're heating that eye on medium, and then we pour in our fresh squeezed lemon juice over the peaches. And we're going to stir that up in the pot. Spread it around nice and even. Take you a big spoon and just stir that around. Now stir it gently, where you don't squish the peaches up, of course. Don't squish them up too bad. But where the goal here is to basically stir it around till that sugar kind of dissolves and turns into more of a liquid form throughout the peaches, throughout the pot. We don't want any white. We don't want the sugar to be like showing any white, like any white powder around the pot. We want the sugar to melt, into more of a liquid form over the peaches. Then we're going to add our cornstarch. Here we go, cornstarch next. Now we're not going to add that cornstarch just yet. We just took a tablespoon and put it in that little small bowl and let that sit. We're not going to use that cornstarch just yet. We're going to stir the peaches around in the pot and make sure that sugar gets nice and melted, you know, more of it in a liquid form. And we're going to let that sit on the eye for a few minutes. And while we're doing that, we're going to get an egg, put a stick of butter in a small bowl, as you can see at the top left, and then take one egg, crack that egg, and put that in our little small bowl here. And then we're going to put our stick of butter in the microwave for about 1:30 seconds. And while that's heating up, we're going to add some sugar. We're going to put 1 cup of sugar and over top of our egg. That butter should be ready about now. That butter's nice and liquidy, so we're going to add that 1 stick of dairy-free butter into the egg and sugar. We're going to whisk that around real good, where it all becomes nice and, nice and smooth blend, nice and liquidy, not choppy. Get it as smooth as you can in the liquid form. Then we're going to add our vanilla extract next. And we're going to do a teaspoon of vanilla extract into that. I'm going to whisk that around real good some more. Till we get it nice, even, liquidy. Now we're going to add our coconut milk. We're going to add 1 cup of coconut milk into that. There we go. We're going to whisk that around real good. Make it nice and even all around to where it all the ingredients is blended up real good. You might have to whisk it for, about a good 30 seconds. Gonna come back to our peaches and see how our peaches is doing. So you see our peaches, the sugar in our peaches is nice and liquidy. It's getting nice and melted and more liquidy. So we're gonna keep stirring those peaches up. Then come back over here. We're gonna add our gluten-free flour into a separate bowl. And we're going to do 1 cup of gluten-free flour and then a little small teaspoon of cinnamon, ground cinnamon, and then a teaspoon of baking powder, two teaspoons of baking powder. And matter of fact, make that 1 teaspoon of baking powder. Sorry about that. And then we're going to add 1 teaspoon of sea salt as well into that mix. And we're going to stir that around real good. Then we're going to take that tablespoon of cornstarch. Now that the sugar in our peaches is nice and melted, we're going to pour that tablespoon of cornstarch into that pot. And we're going to stir that nice and good to thicken up the liquid for us. Now I did say one teaspoon of baking powder, so hopefully you got that. It wasn't 2. We're going to stir that cornstarch around in that pot, nice and gentle, so we're not crushing our peaches too much. Make sure it's nice and evened out, and that cornstarch is spread out throughout the liquid and getting nice and melted. Just stir it gently, doesn't take much. Now we added another tablespoon of cornstarch in there because we wanted it to be a little bit more thicker. You can use your discretion with this. It just depends on how thick you want your peach cobbler, but you could do 1 tablespoon of cornstarch or 2. But if you want to find a nice midpoint, you know, one tablespoon of cornstarch is sufficient. Unless you want to make it, you know, more thicker, you can do 2 tablespoons of cornstarch. And pour it in that pot and then stir it around nice and good. Till it's bubbling and nice and equal all over. Then we're going to pour that mix that of our gluten-free flour into the egg batter that we whisked around, and we're going to stir that up real good. It's going to be relatively thick. So, you know, you might have to stir this a little bit, you know, a little bit longer till it gets nice and even all around. Then we're going to preheat our oven to 350 degrees. Get that ready. And while that's getting ready, we're going to put the olive oil, spread the olive oil over our pan that we're going to bake it in. Now that we've got our olive oil spread out evenly throughout that pan that we're going to bake it in, we're going to spread our batter around in that pan. Make sure you get all of it. That batter that we just stirred a second ago with the gluten-free flour, where we add the gluten-free flour and the butter and whatnot, the cinnamon and the ground cinnamon and all that, with the egg in it. Now we're going to spread that batter around nice and even throughout the bottom of the pan. Now that we got our batter ready, make sure you get it nice and even and smooth throughout the bottom of the pan. Fill up the whole bottom of the pan. Almost got it. Yep, that looks about right. Doesn't take too long. Sped this up for you. There we go. Next, we're going to add our peaches over top of the batter. 1 spoonful at a time. Make sure you spread them out nice and even all over the batter. There you go. Make sure you spread them out nice and even first before you start, you know, stacking them. But, you know, just make sure the peaches are spread out nice and good all over the batter, so, you know, evenly. Now that we got our ovens, it's heated up to 350 degrees. We're going to put that pan in the oven. Let that bake for about 45 minutes. And it's done. Take it out. And there we go. We have our peach cobbler, gluten-free, dairy-free peach cobbler. And there you go.